U.S. Attorney and Executive Director of Right on Crime. How do you think this thing's going to shake out?
Well, Jesse, I got to tell you, I was hoping to learn something in the indictment. I was hoping that we might be surprised that maybe they had some substance. But I've never seen an indictment like this. I've brought indictments with multiple counts, and I had to show that there were multiple transactions and occurrences and different frauds in order to add every single count. All this was a different take on the exact same issue and allegation 34 times. I guess I've never seen anything like this, and it's not surprising, and it goes to how careful Alvin Bragg has been in presenting this case.
So they take a $130,000 payment, and they chop it up like a sushi roll into 34 counts. And tell me, so they stack it, right? They stack this thing, and you're looking at it, and you're thinking 34, and then you start reading, and he doesn't even put what the big crime is. Can you figure out what the big crime is here?
Well, I finally did figure it out. It's being Donald Trump. But if we set that aside, let me tell you, when Reagan was president, there were a few thousand criminal statutes. There are well over 300,000 criminal statutes. So at this point, if he doesn't have to name it, he just refers to criminal statutes. And everybody, it appears, seems to go along with it. It's a sad day, but it's also tragic because we're now seeing finally out in the open what has been happening for decades, and that's prosecutors who have little accountability and they have no transparency wielding their power with no repercussions for how they wield it.
I mean, this is like when Mueller came out to testify at the hearing, and he was just like, he had no clue what he'd been doing for the last 2 years. You don't think Alvin Bragg, you're going to come out, say what he's doing? The press didn't even buy it. The liberal media in New York, he couldn't sell the indictment to them. They asked him 3 questions, and he skedaddled away to dinner. Is he going to get away with this? This thing cannot stand.
Well, Jesse, the rules and laws in this country to hold a prosecutor accountable have been so whittled away. Legislatures have been giving them power and strengthening qualified immunity to the point that Alvin Bragg has no fear. While he's in office, he presented it to a grand jury. So for all he cares, he's presented something, and the grand jury is the one that you need to blame if it turns out to not have merit. And that's the problem with this system. But you and I both know what's happening here is a line that's being crossed. You can't put this genie back in the box. And do I think that other prosecutors are going to bring charges against politicians they don't like? Yes, and the Clintons will be at the very top of the list.
Yeah, they better make sure their books are clean. I doubt they are, but they better make sure. Thank you so much, Brett.
Scrub.
Start bleaching, crooked. Let's go. Let's turn it over to Dan Bongino, host of